Lesson 12. This is going to be a fun lesson. What we're going to do today is we're going to learn how to improvise. So play some notes over some chords. Now, what you'll need to do is you'll need to visit lesson 8. So go back to lesson 8 and I want you to relearn the chord progression for the blues pattern that we learned in the key of A. Now, it was very detailed. Go back there, make sure you're very comfortable with that and get confident with it. Now, what I like to suggest to my students is it's easy to go to YouTube and find a backing track, yes, and play these scales over the top of them to see how the sounds mix together. And I'll give you some examples of that later. But what I find to be a better method is to record yourself in time playing the 12-bar blues in the progression that you learnt from lesson 8, playing it for a few minutes, then playing it back and playing this scale that I'm going to teach you over the top of it. So you can get a real feel of it. Plus you're building the music, you're learning how it all combines together and you're doing it yourself, okay? And you'll hear if it sounds no good and you'll learn to adjust it as, you know, to suit. So it's a much better method. If you just download perfect backing tracks from YouTube, it's good. It's a good technique to use, but a better technique is record yourself because you'll hear how out of time you really are and you'll have to adjust that. So it's a bit of trial and error, but yeah, record it. And if you get a good one, you can reuse it over and over and over again. So you can keep playing your pentatonic scale over the top to get even better with your scales. So I'll teach you that scale today. I will also offer on the website a printout version of the scale we're learning today in simple tablature. So if you're one of those people that likes to read off paper, by all means, purchase the sheet off my website, print it out and away you go. But this video, I'll walk you through it. I'll use the numbering system that I taught you from lesson 8 and we'll go from there. So let me get my guitar and let's get started. All right, if you haven't done so already, you should have recorded yourself a 12-bar blues rhythm as we learned in lesson 8. So if you haven't done that yet, I'll quickly record one, help you record one for you now that you can use. I'm just going to give you a basic 12-bar blues in the key of A, just like we learnt lesson 8. All right, and I'll count it out. I'll mouth it with my lips so that I don't destroy the sound of it, so you'll know that I'm counting. But remember, the first chord is 16 beats, then 8 beats, and so forth. You'll see when you're counting through it. So ready? So here's the A for 16 starting now. Okay, so that's one block of the 12-bar blues. When you record it on your phone, repeat it over and over a few times so that you can go over the top, because your eventual goal is to be going something like that. Speed's not important. Listen to the sounds and you know, see how they fall on the chords and what happens with them. I'm going to give you a few pointers. Just I don't want to confuse you and scare you too much. It's only new, but practice it over and over again and you'll get comfortable with it. So firstly, how do we play it? Now, if you remember from the finger exercise, the 1, 2, 3, 4 thing, okay, those 4 fingers belong to those 4 frets. Well, in the example we're doing today of the A minor pentatonic blues scale, that's what it's called, we'll be starting from the 5th fret. So all these fingers will belong to these 4 frets. 5th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret. So that's it, they just belong to those. So if you want to give yourself a little warm up, do the finger exercise over the top. Just get those fingers comfortable with them, frets. And I'm going to call out the numbers of the fingers, not the numbers of the frets. So I will say 1, next string, 4, 1. This is the actual scale. 3, 1 next string, 3, 1 again next string, 3, 1 again next string, and then 4, 1 to finish. You are starting on an A note and you are finishing on an A note. It is important, you'll see why soon. I'll start from the top and we'll walk through it together. So play along with me. Low E string, top, 1, 4, next string, 1, 3, next string, 1, 3, next string, 1, 3, next string, 1, 4, finally 1. You can play the 4 here, but you want to always end up on that note. It's a good habit when you're practicing scales to land on your root notes, or your home notes, I call them as well. So there's 3 in this one, that was 2 of them, the top and the bottom that you learnt, there's 1 in the middle, which is there. 4th string, 7th fret is also an A. Why is this important? Because as you're making tunes up, you want to land on the A's when there's an A chord. It's just a little habit you can get into and it starts you learning how to chase chords and follow chords when you're improvising. So if you learn this now at the beginning, it's a simple technique, it gets more difficult as you go on when you chase multiple chords and things like that. But at the moment, just think that's your A note. The other notes do have names, but I'm not going to confuse you with that right now. Learn the shape. You can go to my website, as I said, I didn't say actually, I'm saying it now. You can go to my website and you can purchase a printout of the tablature. Tablature is very easy to read. It's numbers on strings and lines. It's very simple, and that'll outline the pentatonic scale for you. And there's also an additional couple of notes you can add to give it more of a blues sound. That'll be on the sheet as well. So once you've recorded your backing track, you can now play the scale over the top of that backing track and listen to how the notes react. I landed on an A, so I'll give you an A chord. Okay, so I'm adding a little few extra notes there, but you're getting the idea. It's just making little licks up and things. You can look up licks online, there's tons of them, but try and make up your own. So just backwards and forwards on a few notes to begin. Okay, so 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, then try speed it up. Add a little bit of odd timing. Make sure the timing suits your short notes, long notes, experiment. It's a very simple scale. You'll memorize this as quick as possible. It's very easy. And then you can start experimenting, trying different sounds out. Listen, okay, it's very easy. This is a pentatonic scale. It's called pentatonic because there's only 5 notes from the major scale. It's supposed to be 7. They took 2 notes out, they got this very cool sounding scale. Okay, give it a go. We'll add more notes to it later as we go along, but best thing to do is get yourself going, record yourself, see how it all mixes together, experiment and learn more. And I'll give you some more information as we go on. This is a great starting point, okay? That's about all I'm going to give you on this lesson because I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. I want you to get started with it. Spend some time, practice with it. You have to experiment. That's the only way. This is bare bones. There's not much here, and we can add to it later. There's extra notes. Like I said, go to the website. If you like, download the sheet, and you'll get the extended version of the scale. Otherwise, just keep practicing at it. Also, if you like, you can change the 3 major chords to 7th chords. Okay. Look up some 7th chords. Give you a bit more an interesting sound. Sounds a little different, something different. But at the moment, practice the scale and go over your backing track and see how you go. So that was the pentatonic scale. Well, one part of it. There's actually 5 different shapes of the pentatonic scale. We've learned 1 today. I believe that's the easiest one, and it's a good place to start. You know where your A notes are now. You know how to stop on them, hopefully. You'll work it out. Use as many backing tracks as you can, as well as your own. The simple 12-bar blues one we learned today. Go and look for some A minor backing tracks because they will also suit this scale. It'll give you a different interpretation, different sound, so apart from blues. So by all means, go in there, look for some backing tracks online, but use your own. Use your own as much as you can because it'll give you some ideas, okay? Like I said, available on the website, there will be a printout of it in Tablature, simple Tablature that you can understand if you want to print it out so you can see it and practice on your own, don't have to rewind the video every 5 seconds. And I'll also put a printout available for sale on the 7th chords. If you would like to look at the 7th chords that would also suit that backing track to give you a bit of a different sound in your rhythm. Other than that, what can I say? Get out there, practice, practice, practice. That's all it takes. Get into it and I'll see you at the next lesson and we'll go into something different.